Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, June 26th. We're looking at the last 3 days of the market profile SPY ETF here on Window Trader, and pretty much a carbon copy from Wednesday. Incredible. An absolute disgrace by the bulls after what they did in L&M, and it just shows you how price is just an advertisement. That's all it is. That's all it is, folks. Algo's gone wild for no reason in L&M, only to open today, have basically a reverse open drive, plow right down for 3 time frames, and then just when it looks like the sellers have a chance to get last week's low, they do exactly what they did the last 2 days. They continue to make new lows, but come back into today's range each and every time frame. We do end up with a trend day down, but again, it's pretty much a B shape, just like this. Yes, we had a trend day. We had 2 sets of single prints on Wednesday, but it turned to a B shape, and we took it all back yesterday. Well, now we're right back where we started. However, some real significant things happening here, especially on the weekly. Number one, we close at 300.09. That 302.50 level has now been breached to the downside on the weekly. Now, one day does not make a market, but we can't ignore the fact that we are down there. And we'll look more on the weekly when we get there. Number two, we finally got below the 200-day moving average and closed below it. And number three, we're just above the 50-day moving average. So there's a lot of things happening. Put on top of that, we have the end of the quarter, half year, Powell speaking Tuesday. Now, it is a holiday week, but I have a really good feeling Monday and Tuesday could be pretty volatile before people head out for whatever vacations they're heading out to these days. As far as my day, I end up with a good day. But boy, was it touch and go a bunch of times. Both my fault. Took 2 very poor plays in B and F, and I'll explain what I did and why I did it. Took a fantastic play in I twice, but man, I wish I had held on to those as we pinned the afternoon rally high to the T. So let's first started the day off good in A period. Remember, we opened the price probe from yesterday, and by the way, we go out with another price probe, this time to the downside. Even though we close above it, the price probe is L's low. We'll find out Monday if it's accepted or rejected. Today, though, yesterday's price probe firmly rejected. We opened below it. We had the single print still, though. I said I would lean against those, and I did. Even though we went above the open and got back below it quickly. Now, value ends up overlapping to low, but at the time we were higher when I started this trade, and then it was overlapping to higher. I took 2 call plays as the singles held. Both times they held, went back up, and got out of them, and I was very happy with those trades because I wasn't looking for much. I was looking to actually short it at L's high if we got there, because since there weren't buyers there this morning, I sure as heck thought there might be sellers, but we never got that opportunity. Then B period. B takes out A's low and I get short. That's the right move. It's a very good move. I was looking for POC. However, my POC, for whatever reason, is at the wrong price on Window Trader. We got to the POC fairly quick, from what I found out somebody in the room told me, which was nice. So I basically took that trade off. Made small on it. Then B started flushing. Now, I didn't get involved right away, but here was my thought process. Value at the time was still overlapping to high. And I'm explaining why I took this trade. I'm not justifying it, but I'm explaining why I took it. Value was overlapping to higher, and we pushed down pretty quick, pretty hard, but not on good volume. So I took a long, thinking that, hey, look, we just took back the trend. Even though yesterday we took back that trend day, today, we took back L&M, but is this market really going to give everything it fought for the last 2 days? I didn't think it would, to be honest, and that's why I took the long, and I added to the long. And obviously, once C period opened, had single prints, and we started going down again. I finally took it off the table. I had added one more time, and I was down. I gave everything back I made in A on the longs, on the first short in B, gave it all back and a lot more. Not happy. Then in D, so we have singles now. D opened up. Did we have singles? We might have had singles for a quick second, but I didn't do anything. But D ran up, and now my thought process was, well, I don't think if the market's that weak, we shouldn't take out the one-time framing down yet. So I took a pretty decent-sized play short at D's high, rode it back down, got back everything I lost, and was back green again. Not bad, right? Then E period. What did I do in E? I have this all written down, so you have to bear with me. E period. I took a short because we were still one-time framing down. It was nothing big. Took it to wherever it was around D's low. It was okay. And then E actually took out D's high, which was the worst thing that could have happened to me because F period opens. So we stopped the one-time framing down. We're 4 wide. Yes, we have single prints, but now in my head I'm like, wow, this is almost a spitting image of Wednesday. I'm not sure if we're going to fill the single prints, but we stopped the one-time framing. Maybe now I'm looking for F to take out E's high and maybe either have an afternoon rally high before the singles or maybe get into the singles and roll over again like we did on Wednesday. F opens with horrendous structure. Horrendous, which means we opened and we started flying down and left price points all over the place. So I took a quick 100 call play, and it went right in my face, big time, as you can see. Not only didn't we go back and repair the structure, we took out D and E's low and we took out the day's low, and I had size down here. It came back. Now it's size. Once F came back into C's range, I was a little more comfortable. I kept taking some off, adding, taking some off, adding. I finally put it to bed, still down, and then F rallied again. Would have been okay, but now I was down again. So I'm not justifying what I did in B and F. I took that trade in B, not up here or here, but it was more down here because I didn't think we were going to just go full trend again. Well, I was wrong. Excuse me. And I took the trade in F based off a structure play because we had taken out the one-time framing down in E, and I thought F would go back up. What I've learned, and when I have to emphasize, and somebody pointed out in my room, and that's why this trading room is great, when we're getting the volatility we're getting, those structure plays either have to be done for a much smaller size or not at all because there's no guarantee they're going to get filled. Now, we did go back up in H and I to fill most of them, but we left a little bit of it at F's high. Okay. Then I rolls around. Take out H's high. I'm like, well, now I'm comfortable. Even though I'm still playing Innovator, I'm still kind of comfortable because I really have a lot to lean on. I'm looking for an afternoon rally high, and I have the singles. I took a size 300 put play, 303 puts. I paid $1.35 for them. I ended up getting out of them between 145 and 155. Very nice trade. There's on 300 of them. However, my patience has to be better. Now, once I got out of them, I did re-enter the I. We kept bouncing off the 144. Very powerful, the 144 short-term moving average. Once we broke through it, I bought another 200 puts, this time of the 302s it was. And that worked out beautifully. Now, the reason I'm saying I need patience, nothing told me to get out of either one of those trades, especially the second one, because now we're below the 144. Yes, J tried to go up, but it failed, and then look what we did. But anyway, those trades in I and J not only took back what I was down, but put me up pretty decent for the day. And then I took a short in L period. Did I take a short now? Why did I write that? Versus no single prints or long. No, I'm sorry. I took a long, not a short. I missed a short play in L. L period, let's make this bigger. L period open. Now, again, I'm in 8-tick increments, but L period got up to within 5 cents of K's high. That was beautiful, beautiful trade location for a short, but I was talking to the room and I wasn't paying attention, and then it totally rolled over. Right? That was great risk reward because if it took out K's high by 2 ticks, I'm out. So I missed that. But what I did do when L made a new low, I took a 50 call play against the 300 calls that expired today. I bought 50 of them. I didn't think we'd have single prints again, and I was right. Ran up 20 cents in my favor real quick. And then I took one more in M. Actually, I took two M's. When it broke L's low, I was waiting for it to flush. I didn't think we got the price probe. I figured we'd go back. I took a long. That worked. And then again, when M popped L's high, I took a quick long. That worked. So I had a very good day overall. Mental reserve is shot because it was big time seesawing until I finally nailed it in I. But again, I don't mind so much the B play, even though it was one time framing down, but that structure play was pretty silly on my part. Sorry, this is a little long, but for people who are learning and for people who follow me and I like looking at this, I'm trying to be as honest as possible and give you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I hope it helps. All right. Destinations for Monday. So we go out with a price probe, right? So L's low, 299.66 will be our first destination on the upside, even though we closed above it. Then we have the afternoon rally high, which is, I'm telling you, it's my favorite trade. It really is. I don't know why, but it is. I think I have my most success on those. That's 302.58 eyes high. Then we have the single prints. There's still a large set. They start at 303.11, get filled at 304.52. So they're over 141 points. And then we have today's high of 306.39. And by the way, opening, never saw it again. That has been so visual over the last month. It's been incredible. For the downside, we have today's low of 299.42, which is also a weekly low. Important, my friends. Then we have 296.74, another weekly low. And then fill in the gap at 295.63 from May 26th, 111 ticks. Then we have 295.45 price probe from May 22nd. 294.25 afternoon pullback low from the same date. 293.22 daily low. And then a very, very important and visual area. 291.95 weekly low. And then filling a huge gap. 286.33, 562-point gap from May 18th. Now, again, I know this video is long, but it's the end of the week. Take your time watching it because I think it's pretty valuable. Charts. Monthly. One time framing up for 2 months. 2 days to go in the month, so it's still very healthy. However, where earlier in this month we were above both May and March's high, right now with 2 days to go, unless we close above 306.84, yes, we're one time framing up for 2 months, but we'd be firmly inside a 4-month balance. Okay? Yeah, look, we're one time framing up, but to me, right, that's why I didn't call it up, if you recall. Until we took out March's high, I kept calling this balance because March's range is $95. So to me, it's just a huge balance in April and May. Now, June took out the high. It took it out pretty good. Took it out by $10. That's pretty damn good. But look where we are now. So yes, we're one time framing up for 2 months, but we're firmly in a 4-month balance. Right? Weekly. And this is the one that should have your alarms going off. Possibly. I'm going to call it balance inside week. Now, just because we closed near the low of the week does not necessarily mean we're going to come out of the inside week to the downside, right? I would think the odds are better because we're $15 or $14 away from the high of the week as opposed to $1, or not even $1, from the low of the week. But that does not mean we're coming out to the downside. However, whichever way we come out, if it is to the downside, then the odds of taking out last week's low and testing that little gap, which I'll show you on the daily, is very good. And then we start going to destinations, right? Then we're looking at 291.95, which is going to be a critical weekly low. Why don't I have that as a weekly low? 291. Oh, yes, I do. I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind. We do. That's critical because below that then is the gap, which I'll show you on the daily. Acceptance into this balance, my friends, tells me we'll look at 287 again. Now, one day doesn't make a market. So if on Monday we pop right back out of it and nothing's really changed, we're still been balanced, still in an inside week. But it remains to be seen. Now the daily. One time framing down for 3 days. Almost a carbon copy of these 3 days, right? Last Friday, we closed. Oh, we didn't close. I apologize. We closed way off the low. So there is a big difference from last Friday to this Friday. Last Friday, we closed $5 off the low and above the 200. So even though they look very similar, couple of big differences. We closed above the 200. We rallied $5 off the low, and then we gapped higher Monday. So the big differences today are where we closed right at the low as opposed to $5 off of it, and we closed below the 200 and just above the 50. Now again, does that mean we're going to gap lower Monday? No, it doesn't mean that. We could gap $10 lower Monday. All I'm saying is we're one time framing down, 2 island reversals that have not been filled, leads me to believe the odds are, if we take out today's low, which will be taking out the weekly low, sellers, if they ever show up, can start to do some damage back into the low 290s, 280s. That's what I'm trying to say. If we're going to see that, I would think it's going to be Monday and Tuesday, because after that, we'll see if there's any damage done, and then because of the holiday weekend coming up next weekend. Selling, 127 million. Yeah, it's above average, but nothing spectacular for when you're down 2.5%. You would like to see more than that. So it is still short-term players. Can this bring in long-term players? Sure it can. It can, but look. And again, I know this is a long video, but this is important. To me, this is very important. Yes, we had trend day Wednesday and today, but it's still balance, B-shape, balance all day. Today, balance, B-shape. You need the next time frame to come in. If they come in, they're not going to stop at these visual levels all day. They're going to rip through those levels. They'll rip through that huge gap down to 287 in a heartbeat. But you're going to need them in here, I think, to get that done. Anyway, I hope you had a great week trading. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. And we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.